I'll begin the webinar. Welcome. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking time out to attend today's webinar, Wood Innovations, What's New, What's Next, Furniture Indoor and Outdoor. My name is Nirmala Thomas and I'm the Director Market Development at Fascia, India. The webinar today will be approximately of 1 hour in duration. Before we begin with this session, just allow me a few seconds to introduce Canadian Wood to you. Canadian Wood, also known as FI India, is the crown agency of the Government of British Columbia, BC in Canada. We are a non-profit organization with a mandate to educate and promote use of BC forest products in the offshore markets of India. Most of you all will be knowing that British Columbia is recognized as a global leader in sustainable forest management. Canadian Wood has been actively promoting wood as a sustainable raw material in various applications in India through its 5 legally sourced species, namely spruce spine fir, what you know as SPF, western hemlock, Douglas fir, yellow cedar, and western red cedar. Today's topic is furniture indoor and outdoor. It is a well-known fact that even though Indian furniture industry comprises mainly of the unorganized sector, it still continues to be a leading producer of furniture, whether it's indoor or outdoor, in Asia, and can become a global furniture hub with the necessary government and industry support. The whole thing driving the whole domestic demand for furniture in India is basically India's huge population living in urban and tier 1 and tier 2 cities. While the furniture industry tries to cope with its domestic demand through a fast growing retail sector with new labels joining in, India's furniture export to top international destinations like US, Germany, France, UK, Netherlands, and Australia also continue to grow. Wooden furniture is anticipated to continue its dominance in the Indian furniture market and expected to grow substantially in the post-COVID era, especially with residential furniture, both indoor and outdoor, playing an important role in its growth. India's wooden furniture industry has a favorable outlook and expected to grow in the coming future. Good supply chain management, cost minimization, brand management, customization of furniture are some of the key factors that will influence the growth of furniture sector in India. Without taking much of your time, I would now like to hand over to Jimmy Thomas, our moderator for the afternoon today. Over to you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Nirmala. Good afternoon and welcome everyone to this webinar. Today we have 3 distinguished speakers in this webinar on wood innovations, what's new, what's next. We will be hearing about furniture, both indoor and outdoor, from these distinguished speakers. Our first speaker is Bram Rouws. He is the founder and director of Bram Woodcrafting Studio, Mysuru. Bram is a carpenter, cabinet maker, and furniture designer. He hails from France. He completed his first degree in joinery when he was just 21 years old. Then he specialized as a cabinet maker. Bram joined the renowned Tour de France with the Compagnons, an old guild of professional master craftsmen. He studied carpentry and cabinet making extensively and completed 6 different masterpieces later on. Bram was admitted to the Compagnon Guild in 2013 to become a mentor for younger Compagnons over the next few years. Since 2017, he has been running Bram Woodcrafting Studio in Mysuru to design, prototype, and manufacture high-quality solid wood furniture. Bram and his young and dynamic team are committed to work with the certified wood from sustainable forests. He is a member of the National Occupation Standards FFFC as well. With these few words, let me invite Bram to deliver his talk. Over to you, Bram.
Hi everyone, Bram here. So today I will present you the woodworking, the wood crafting in general. So I will share my screen. So I started Bram Woodcrafting Studio in 2017. We manufacture, we design, we create. And today in 2021, we are partnering with Mass Furniture. So with mass furniture, we will start the wooden houses, the training center, and the mass manufacturing of design products. So through my journey, I would like to show you what is the difference between joinery, cabinet making, and carpentry. So in the woodcraft, so this is what I call wood, that's woodworking, but this is what I would call wood crafting. So I have done cabinetry, joinery, installations, timber framing, staircases, panel processing, and furnitures. Now we start with the cabinetry. So on the left, you can see this is cabinet making. So it is a carcass on which we have pasted a veneer, and we have different motifs. So this is the essential of the cabinet making. So we are cabinet makers are in general adding materials, different layers or skins, and playing with different materials. On the right, you can see another cabinet, but this one is full solid wood. So this would be more an overlap with the cabinet maker as a joiner piece. Then for the joiner, one of the main is the door. So you can see multiple doors that we have been doing. And on the right, this is the latest door that we have been sending for a restoration project in France. Through photos, we have been able to reproduce what was there on the site. And you can see this is, I would name as fine woodworking, fine joinery, as all the profile that you see are done by the carpenters, a part of the acanth flower that you can see in the middle as a mirror ornamentation. So the joiner is also part of the ornamentation. Then you can see the carpenter. The carpenter would have geometry. So here you can see a zome and geodesic dome. They all are on the scale of 3 feet or 3 meters or 11 feet diameter or height. And the joiner also would be able to do this kind of, in the team, in the joiner or the carpenter, it overlaps on that point, the geometry. This is timber framing or the carpentry. So this involves more structural. So it's all these frames has to be sanctioned by the structural engineers. And now on these, between the carpentry and the joinery, there is an overlap, which is a staircase, which is also a profession, staircase maker. And this was made for a castle. And it's always better for this kind of pieces to have an architect to guide us. Now for panel processing, it can be done by the cabinet maker, the joiner, and in the office, in the design team, engineers appear, as it is a very broke down solution for everyone. So we work with flat panels, and those panels can also not be only allied of wood. It can be also solid wood that can be cross-laminated. So instead of a ply of multiple layers, still in an odd number, we can have 3 different layers in any species. So currently at Mass Furniture, we are also making cross-laminated panel out of yellow cedar. So these occupational standards are international. So the carpenter, again, I would say, would work on the structural, timber framing, as well as site work. On the joinery side, we'll have fine woodworking, as well as panel processing, installation. It won't involve structures as a calculation, but it would involve structure at a span of 3 meters to 4 meters. So more than 11 feet, 11 to 14 feet. And the cabinet maker is something that we don't have much here in India, but the cabinet maker could be the furniture designer. So it's considered as the same in France. So there is more focus on design, incorporation of material, and different application of skills. Sorry. So Woodcrafting.in, an initiative from Bram Woodcrafting Studio and Mass Furniture. So we do custom designs, prototyping, high-end products, site installation, small and medium scale manufacture of affordable designs, affordable products. Now the wooden house is a very new venture where we treat it also as a furniture, modular, and also the interior and as well as the furnitures. And for the Skill Institute, with Mass Furniture and FFSE, I remind this Furniture Fitting Skill Council, we are trying to do the national occupation standards. So we propose to company to upskill on those three aspects, the cabinet making, carpentry, and joinery. So we propose every 8 weeks an upskilling in our premises of 2 weeks, where people can go on all the levels one by one. And in the same time, for the apprenticeship that we're also working on, to give the youngster perspective of careers and what they can do and at which level and in which order. So we are working on the curriculum, and from January, we will be able to start upskilling for the companies as a recurring program. Now I would like to share the latest project that we have in our workshop. So this is a conference table that we are making for GSW. So this is treated like a door. So it's a frame with panels inside. This is an installation. So it's a parametric wall. So it's a no-low structure treated with a skeleton. And you can see 1.5 kilometer of stripes, and they are bent in both the sides. So you can see there is one corner over there where the wood has been able to be bent in all the 3 dimensions. So this wood has been processed. Now on the left, we did a lion for Ahmedabad Design Week. This is an 8 feet long lion. And then different furniture in terms of joinery that you would see, or cabinet making, but here there is no layer on the top. And then organic design, this is our signature to be able to make any shape in the wood. Another set of chairs, a coffee table, and a standing chair. Ishinomaki is a brand that we will be launching soon. As we mentioned, we want to make affordable design furniture. So Ishinomaki Laboratory is an initiative from BWS and Studio Chisel together. So it's part of Ishinomaki, make local. So we are the manufacturers in India. And what we can observe here, this is made in the Western M block. And all of this is a very simple construction. Skilled and unskilled people can be trained on this type of construction. We could have a unit of 7 persons working on this, making all of these designs together. So we will be launching this collection soon. I would like to note also that we are working on prototyping for companies, and we are mainly asked to make simple design and simple manufacture. So this is a very good example of it. And I feel like it's a very hard for a designer to achieve. So I would like to defend the designer in this case to achieve these kind of designs. Yeah. So these are the product that we have started mainly with Canadian wood, in collaboration with Canadian wood. As we started our unit, first item that we have been making is the work benches. As we have machines, we want to work at the same height as the machines. And it's also organized the workshop, and ergonomically, it's better to spend 1 day on a workbench if you work at this height plus a carrier. Yeah. Then Petal is the first design we did with Canadian wood in yellow cedar and red cedar. And we experimented parametric design, and it was a success. So the Petal name is because this is for lobbies or for airport. So we need a lot of space so that it grows a flower when all the petals are placed together. And now this is a completely timber framing carpentry type of construction in Douglas fir and SPF. Douglas fir is made for the pillars and SPF for the part that has to be covered. So for the roof part, so the rafters. And we did not wanted to cover it because we wanted to show a traditional French construction of roof. And it has been, it was for India Wood 2020. So I would like to thank Canadian Wood for this opportunity for us to speak about what we are doing. There is a lot happening in the field of woodworking, wood crafting, and you can note our contact if you have anything. If we would be very happy to interact with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bram.
Thank you, Bram. Fantastic presentation. Very much appreciated. It was nice to see very many Canadian wood products, including the Zom, Ishinomaki, and your masterpieces as well. Appreciate also your efforts to upskill the youngsters in the as part of the FFFC program. Now I am pleased to introduce our next speaker, Mr. Manan Patel. Mr. Manan Patel is the principal designer and developer at Woodberry Enterprises, Ahmedabad. I request him to switch on his video, please.
Mr. Manan Patel, if you are having issues, could we ask Mr. Samir Wheaton to present before you? Manan?
Can you hear us?
Manan, can you hear us? Are you still having technical issues?
I can hear you.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay.
Please switch on your video.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Manan is a multidimensional professional with rich work experience in furniture design and modular kitchen industry. Before beginning his journey with Woodberry, he successfully started and managed several businesses in furniture design and production industry. He believes that design should always enhance functionality, as everything in life and work revolves around being functional. At Woodberry, he is focusing on providing turnkey solutions and great experience when it comes to interior designing and execution. He loves to spend his leisure time in reading books and listen to music. With these few words, let me invite Manan Patel to deliver his talk. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Hello. Hi, this is Manan from Woodberry. We are a company based out in Ahmedabad. We do turnkey residential projects in the mid-range and luxury segment. We cater to clients directly and through their interior designers. This company was basically set up to address their problem needs. The basic problems that are associated in with regards to an interior designer and client and a vendor correlation is hassles of executing a design document or design concept. From the client's perspective, invariably, they work on a budget, but there are budget overshoots and extended timelines. There is also a question of multiple agency coordination. So we as a company propose or we give a solution where we take ownership and responsibility of execution. And we have the capability of converting most of the design concepts into actual products and deliver or hand over on site. We also give the client a benefit, or I would not call a benefit, but we complete their project in a decided budget. We give them a budget first, and so it's easier for them to confirm their work. And timelines, we are able to manage by working off-site as well as on-site and in coordination, so that on-site work is completed prior to the final products coming onto site. With regards to managing multiple agencies, we superimpose most of the or all the documents in our design office, resolve the ambiguities, and manage different agencies' timelines. We are able to do this basically by having the right process and systems in place. We believe that with continued projects, we tweak the systems and processes and ensure that we build on each project that we do. We have a competent in-house furniture design and pre-production studio. Our production facility is able to manage different woods, panels, stone, ceramic, glasswork, metalwork, soft furnishing. And we also have a competent in-house agencies to support or to validate what we propose. We work with wood a lot, wooden doors, wooden windows, panelings. For an interior project, our main forte is kitchens, dressing rooms, bedrooms, and bathrooms. We have executed some doors with Canadian timber. The three images on the left are 11 feet high doors, and on the right there is a main door which is like 8 feet by 8 feet, so tall and wide doors. All of them have been done with Canadian, all the internal structures in Canadian yellow cedar. Typical cross-section detail of a door is illustrated over here. We do frames also where the underlay is Canadian yellow cedar, and the decor materials are overlaid as per interior designers and architect specification. Again, different examples of Canadian yellow cedar. The use is in 5-panel classical kitchen design. Yellow cedar with a combination of veneered center panel. We use yellow cedar because it is mainly white, so we can tint them to different shades and finishes. The top example over here is Balinese house, which we have done paneling and cladding work. It's an underlay of the roof. It's done with SPF. The bottom images are one of our projects, which in a garden there is a suspended roof which is cladded with SPF. Kitchens, there are different finishes. We are capable of managing high gloss, metal, laminated, wood, veneers, solid wood with back painted glass. Dressing rooms. The first image on the left is a adaptation from an Italian company, and it is done in frosted glass and smoked glass with brass and leather. The second image is with laminated timber. The front face is thin sliced teak wood, and the center core is finger jointed timber. The third image from the left has we have used all the offcuts of the log and created dressing room fascias. This dressing room typically was 15 feet by 20 feet, which was all covered with the entire house offcuts. The last image is again an adaptation from an image which we have converted into. It has copper handles with ceramic fascia and adjacent with clear glass. Upper right, the open and close carcass. This is a concept that we have developed from a discussion with one of the interiors in Ahmedabad. This is made out of wood. It is a very interesting concept where there are no back, no sides, only the front verticals on which the wardrobe fascias are installed, and all the electrical and lighting is all the electrical is connected through these through the vertical members. And again, these fascias are 10 feet height, single heighted. Bedrooms, solid wood. The first image on the left is complete solid wood bed and side tables. The second image is a combination of wood and fabric. The third image has back painted glass, leather, stone, wood, lighting. And the image on the right is fully upholstered with backlit. Bedside tables and TV units with dovetail joinery. The image that the earlier slide had, the bed frame was basically with dovetail joinery. So beds, there's this TV unit, left hand top corner. It's a 15 feet long solid wood TV unit with dovetail joinery. So dovetail joinery is ideal for solid wood timber jointing. Bathrooms, again, various materials are used. The first image on the left is copper and stone. The second image is again stone and back painted glass. The third image is again laminated solid wood fascias. And the last image over here is a combination of again metal, wood and stone. Thank you. I would like to thank the Canadian Timber organization for giving this opportunity. Hope you have enjoyed this presentation.
Thank you, Manan.
Thank you, Manan, for an informative and very detailed presentation. I loved your kitchens, that, both in coffee color and natural color yellow cedar kitchens, and also the suspended ceiling with the SPF, among other creations. All awesome creations. And also appreciate the use of the bits and pieces in creating that designer dressing room. Well done. Thanks.
Thank you.
So it is time to move on to the next speaker. Our next speaker is Samir Wheaton. I request Samir to switch the video on, and also Manan, please stop sharing screen.
Hold on.
Samir Wheaton is the owner of Wheaton's Design Private Limited, Jaipur. He graduated from the National Institute of Design, Ahmedabad in 1994 and specialized in industrial design and furniture design. Along with Bhavna, Samir founded Wheaton Design Limited, based at Jaipur and Delhi. Wheaton Design is manufacturing high quality furniture and accessories for both the Indian market and international markets. Samir is multifaceted, and his love for good design has led him to express his creativity in various forms of architecture, be it a resort, a high residential building, or hotels or high-end homes. His key design concepts for success are good natural light, good ventilation, simplicity in blending client's vision with the macro environment around. He's a national level swimmer and a triathlete. With these few words, let me invite Samir Wheaton to deliver his talk. Over to you, Samir.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. So I'll just, go through some of my works which are there. And I actually studied out of National Institute of Design, specialized in furniture design. But we also have architectural facility, and we do turnkey projects. Most of them are commission projects where we do the architecture, the interiors, and also we have a furniture manufacturing unit where we manufacture furniture as well as the setups for the interiors like doors, door frames, roof structures, and everything. So our furniture manufacturing is generally fully mechanized and solid wood oriented. Though we can do a lot of plywood, but my love for solid wood, I keep on tending towards doing manufacturing on solid wood. I'll run you through some of the kind of stuff that we do. Yeah. So these are some of the projects that we worked on, and most of our furniture and our interiors is directed towards very contemporary stuff. So on your right hand side, there is a building that we did in exposed concrete, and then it had a slightly traditional kind of a handrail mixed with metal and copper. On your left hand side, you will see a roof which is under progress of making. So this is it's a curved roof with wooden battens running through for its acoustic properties. What I would highlight is most of the stuff that I'm going to show here is we have used Canadian wood for the projects, which is primarily SPF. Apart from that, we use oak and white ash and definitely Burmese teak. But one second, sorry. These are some of the images of the interiors that we are doing. On your left hand side would be a dining room. The dining table and the furniture, is done by us. The ceiling, if you see, is a lot of small pieces of wood which are undulated in surface, and we have kind of colored them to give that starry light ceiling. On your right is some solid wood steps in a building that we have done, and also you can see a part of a solid wood beam which is running through. So this is a very interesting house because all the walls were in solid stone, and the roofing and all the floors are made out of solid wood with solid beams and stuff like that. That is how traditionally architecture at one point in time would have been. This is another shot of the interiors of somebody's study, where on the left hand side there's a cabinet with mixed materials. So there's Korean, there's brass, there's mirror, there's glass. Then there are the chairs and the table, and on your right, if you see, there's wood which is like sort of in a DNA structure. So we do a lot of wood manipulation also. So that's it. And also here you can see the finishes, because most of the wood that we try to use is prime wood, that is higher quality wood, and we do minimalistic finish. So if you see the chair and table, it's almost no finish, and that's how the wood is just pure wax. So we use waxing and oil vis-a-vis doing melamine and lacquering in most of our products. This is a hotel that we did in Goa, and the great opportunity to use a lot of materials local, as well as the client gave us a freedom to use reconstitute wood and also joint wood. So it's a very eco-friendly kind of methodology that we use. So this place has got a lot of mix of all the cutouts of a wood that we rejointed and constructed. So if you see the furniture which is there, that's all jointed wood. Nothing is solid except for the bench which you're seeing just in the forefront. These are some other shots of the same hotel, and there's a pergola which is on your left hand side. This is in Goa, and we use a lot of Canadian wood which is there, especially SPF, hemlock, and it has lasted very well. This was for me an experimental. I personally don't believe in what when somebody says that that this is going to last. These are the properties of it till we don't try it out. So we have tried it out, and we have been pretty successful. This is a 5-year-old property, and probably the photographs are after use of 2 to 3 years. That would be the interior of the same hotel. And if you see the cabinet on your right hand side, it clearly shows that there's a lot of jointed wood which is there in the cabinet shutter, and mostly all of this is made out of jointed mixed woods. This is the ceiling of the restaurant in the same place. So we designed the lights which are hanging there, and also the ceiling panels which are there, because this is what we call architecturally a temporary structure. It's a steel structure. It has got a steel roofing on the top and insulation in between, and then we have also these wooden panels, which are all of them are made out of SPF. And this is again in Goa, and lasting about maybe 100 meters away from the 150 meters away from the sea, and it lasted pretty well. You can see the furniture along. That is also manufactured by us. This is out of the same property. There's some louvers. There's the ceiling pergola with the glass on it. This is another private residence that we did. We constructed most of the verandas out of solid wood with the solid wood structures itself. So the roofing definitely has the tiles on top, but the underneath is wooden beams with wood cladding. And if you see the columns which are there, they are again jointed wood. So what we figured out here was, again because of the humidity, the wood was not behaving itself. And if we joined it in a certain way, weakened the strength of the wood and rejointed it, and we could use that weakness for our own strength. That's how we have designed the columns. That would be the front of the same property. This is some of the interiors. So the solid wood, we do solid wood floors, which are here. This is tending towards the cabinets are there again in solid wood. They're tending towards slightly traditional kind of designs, but it's a mix of both kind of classical as well as contemporary design sets. The ceiling is also solid wood. This is the same house where we were doing the ceiling, and the structures out of solid wood. That is some of the furniture that we do. This is a classical American sleigh bed, which we do it for export. And you can see a certain amount of moldings. There's wood bending, so it looks very simple, but it's a fairly complicated bed. So this is just a little introduction to what we do. And I'm going to stop my screen share, and we can go ahead with the next thing. Over to you.
Thank you, Samir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samir, for an illustrative and informative presentation. Happy to hear your very positive experience with the Canadian wood, especially the use of SPF for that ceiling and the use of cedar for different applications. With this, we have concluded the presentations, and it is now time for our Q&A, question answer. I request all the panelists to switch on the video and mic. Mr. Manan Patel.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, we have some very interesting questions. Basically, most of them are, some of them are comparing softwoods and hardwoods, and also comparing the popular Indian species with the Canadian wood, your experience with working with the Canadian wood, things like that. So the first question is actually to Bram, and that is, what were your major considerations in selecting wood species for your project? Or when you think about a project, do you consider a wood in mind before you start the designing, or once it is something like a casting in a movie? Yes. So what's your...
So multiple parameters I take in consideration. The structural wood with Canadian wood would be very, it's a light wood with a very good compression resistance. So all the roof structure and all the structures. If it has to be done by hand or machines, I would do by machine with a Canadian wood, all these 5 species. If it has to be on outdoor, I would also choose a Canadian wood. Price point, I would also choose one of the species because hardwood are becoming solely semi-precious wood. And Canadian wood are also, in terms of sustainability, I will choose also a maximum of evergreen species. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question is to Manan. Let me just go through the questions. I'm trying to club different similar aspect question. Yeah, the question is about the kitchen actually.
Okay.
We have a wet kitchen concept in India.
Okay.
And how do you find it suitable? When you use a solid wood in the kitchen, how well you compare with the modular furniture with yellow cedar kitchen?
See, the wood is used in the fascia. The cabinetries are made in panel, and modular as to built up kitchens or built on site kitchens. They are also made in ply and laminate. These cabinets are also made in probably pre-laminated or pre-finished ply. The problems mainly occur when the countertop installations are not done right. Countertop installation vis-a-vis around the sink zone, that's where the problems arise. With regards to using wood as a fascia, And if you've taken the expansion contraction allowances between the fascias, there is no problem at all. And the raised panel fascias that we have that are normally made over here are with a center panel, which is vineyard form. So only the frame is in timber. The center panel is vineyard form. So it invariably the movement is happening in the center panel. The frame cross-section sizes are small, so the expansion contractions are not that high or wide.
Okay, thank you. Next question is to Samir. Yeah, the question is regarding actually a use of wood in structures near the seashore. Is there a different way to season or treat or coat the wood in order to ensure better longevity, especially when we use timber on the seashore where a lot of salty wind is there? Maybe that is the reason for this question.
So, the sea is very unforgiving. It actually depends upon how far, this is what my experience is, how far away you're away from the direct winds of the sea. So if, a couple of places that I show you, we are just about 100 meters away from the sea without a buffer. So there, the wood behaves absolutely differently. You need to, break the, wind. So, coming from that, if the wood is too exposed with the salt water and stuff like that, it does the joinery per se, gets affected. So you have to join it in a different way. That means it has to be more blocky. It cannot be fine joints. That's what happens to things which are very close to the sea. And if you're a little further away, which is about 400 meters beyond, and you have a little buffer, then you can go into fine joinery. The finish on the wood is very important. That we don't use melamine or any of those things because it actually seals the wood and stops it from wood is, even though you cut the tree, wood is alive. Yeah, wood lives. Each time you touch it, each time you sit on it, each time you clean it, you're imparting some material into the wood, and that is actually excellent for the wood. I was reading a couple of questions, even in Leh, Ladakh, and stuff like that. So humidity is actually where the wood loves humidity. What the wood doesn't love is humid and dry and humid and dry. So either you keep it in a dry place or you keep it in a humid place. So if you're using wood in a more solid form, closer to the sea, with joinery which is not fine joinery, which is basically overlaps, cut pieces, tenon mortars which is open, it'll stay longer. So, that's how much I can answer your question. Apart from that, you'll have to ask my expertise.
Okay, fair enough. Again, the next question is very much related to this, climatization or moisture stability, like that. There are a few questions related to this moisture issue. So the question is to Bram actually. Do you feel it is important to acclimatize the wood to the local EMC before put that into the use? That's a question.
Yes. Yes, it is important. For example, for flooring, it's better to store the flooring 72 hours before installation. So it has to be acclimatized before. So moisture content obviously has to be for furniture between 8 to 14%. And it's better to use it a couple of days before. I also recommend to pre-cut the wood 1 week before the project, if it is possible.
Okay, so pre-cut means you prepare the individual elements or pieces as per the drawing before the final assembly, well in advance, so that whatever movement happens to be, happened.
So one of the major movement is when you cut it in the length. When you cut it, when the wood separates, when the fiber separates, the pieces twist Then after that, you can put it also in the planar thicknesser. Then it's like apply, if you have a core in the middle and if you remove too many layers on one side, then the wood will cut one way. If you remove from the other side, the wood will cut the other way. So the versatility. So the best is to at least keep a 10 mm on the side and 6 or 7 mm on the thickness, and the length is not a problem. But then if it acclimatized like this and stored flat, then after that, the day that you have to make your furniture is you can do the planning, final planning. Yeah. Final
how much importance you give to the radial or tangential kind of surfaces, or vertical grained or vertical grain wood?
For example, a door has 2 steel and 2 rails. So the steels are the verticals. This has to be a quarter zone. And then you have this one can be a radial, a flat zone, sorry. So
okay.
this can move, but because it has the 2 rails, it can absorb this. But the wood has to be, like for example, in a door, if you have 2 rails and 3 crossing, the panels in the middle should not be pasted, otherwise the wood cannot move from any side. So wood has to be framed, and if we do the contradiction of these forces, we may have some cracks. So I saw a question also about the cracks. So
yeah,
it's very important. Placing the wood is the science of the carpenter, joiner, and the cabinet maker. And using the wood, also acclimatize the wood, and also not to paste the panels and the white surfaces that are framed. Yeah, this is why that
wood being a natural material, though it is being seasoned in the kiln, when it come out of the kiln, it will be exposed again to the natural prevailing atmospheric conditions. So there is a chance of absorption or even leaving the moisture out for some time. So that is actually the process of getting into the equilibrium. Anyway, this acclimatization is a very important part of wood processing or wood utilization. So those who are using solid wood, whichever the species is, acclimatization is a very, very important aspect or a step to be taken before putting the wood into use. That is the.
If I can add something, Jimmy, is that
yeah.
Around like the 14th, 16th, 17th century, the wood was brought at the place maybe half a year before to be acclimatized, and it was air dry. Now we have kiln dry, so this process goes also a little faster. So the wood still has to be acclimatized when it reaches the premises. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is to Manan regarding the use of panels and wood in kitchen. Do you use solid wood only for shutters, or use also the different panels? And how will you compare the use of panels and solid wood in kitchens? Because people fascinated to your kitchens.
Okay. See, in kitchens, all the casework is from pre-laminated ply or pre-laminated particle board or pre-laminated HDF. The fascias and the visible panels are in wood and veneer combination. Okay.
Yeah.
In wood fascias, you have we broadly have two basic system, where one is where it is a classical 5-piece or 5-panel fascia, where you have tile, rails, and center panel. The center panel can be raised or flat panel. And the other one is, if you intend to use just flat surfaces, we normally recommend 3-layered laminated panels. 3-layered meaning the center panel is finger jointed, edge glued, and the front and back is balanced with decor faces of timber that to any client specification. So it can be, the decor face can be in, let's say, teak or ash or oak. The finger jointed board can be in a different timber or on the same timber. So the decor faces are clean and A grade, thin sliced, and the inner core is, offcuts with finger joint, so there is less movement. Solid wood casework in kitchen, normally we don't do over here. There are classically the process gets very expensive when you start. Probably just like Bram said, that you need to season the timber, air dry, it has to get analyzed in the right in the environment where it has to get installed. So in kitchens, we don't do solid wood timber casework. But in bedrooms, yes, definitely. The TV unit side tables, and they're always done with dovetail joinery. So the movement is, and it's a classical time-tested joinery. So that's it. I think for smaller pieces of components, we do solid wood casework.
Thanks. I think we have time for just one last question to Samir. Samir, when you use wood for outdoor, you have chosen both durable and perhaps not so durable species also. Would you agree that design is just as important as the final application and location?
Sorry, can you repeat?
Means the selection of wood for outdoor application, how well you compare or give importance to selection of wood to your location and your design?
See, it's very location is very important. Like Bram also said, acclimatization and stuff like that. So wood behaves differently in different areas, and because we guys as a company use solid wood, and finishing is very minimalistic. So it is a very important part of the selection for wood. What wood we use, what grade of wood that we use, where actually the wood is coming from. That's also, if I, let's say for imported wood, whether it's coming from Europe, whether it's coming from, Canada or US. So over a period of time, we have kind of figured out where the wood should be coming from. Whether it's African teak, there's Burmese teak, or there's nothing like Indian teak. I haven't found it yet recently, but where the wood is coming from, it behaves differently for different pieces of furniture, different areas that is going to be used for, and we are very careful as designers to incorporate these features into it. So that's one thing. But having said that, again, I'm restating, it's not. We have had very good experience with the Canadian wood, because we have been using the cedar out of it, we have been using hemlock out of it, we have been using the SPF out of it. And these are primarily softer woods than what we generally are used to, but they come fairly seasoned, and or we make sure that what wood we are buying is seasoned and with less knocks. And though it comes at a certain price, but it behaves way better than material if you're buying at buying at a lower cost. So that's my little feedback for it. Be careful about the material that you buy. It should be if you want to do a good quality product, you can buy good quality material, well seasoned, and be careful of where you use it.
Okay, thanks. I think it's time is up for Q&A as well, and we will be handing over to Nirmala. I thank all the panelists for your active participation. Over to you, Nirmala. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. I think it was a very informative and engaging discussion. Basically, not taking much of your time, I just would like to take this opportunity to personally thank each panel member for showcasing their product range and experience in working with Canadian wood. Bram Rouws of Bram Woodcrafting Studio, Mysuru, for sharing his immense knowledge on crafting beautiful pieces of furniture. Manan Patel of Woodberry Enterprise Ahmedabad for showcasing a wide range of work in different forms and applications. Samir Wheaton of Wheaton Designs Jaipur for sharing some very unique designs like the Baleza by the Beach restaurant. And Jimmy, of course, for moderating this wonderful webinar. I know all of you in the audience would have had many questions in mind that remain unanswered for today. We apologize for that. We'll try and capture all these questions as raised in the Q&A panel and document the same. These will be addressed to each panel speaker if you have mentioned their names, and they will be all replied back via email in a few days' time by our business development team members. If you still would like to know more on Canadian Wood, please do not hesitate to reach out to us by visiting the Canadian Wood website or by contacting any of our business development managers. We have 2 offices, one in the north, that is in Gurgaon, and one in Bangalore. They'll be most happy to assist you. After this webinar, you'll receive a survey link from Canadian Wood sent directly to your registered email ID. Request you to kindly fill in the feedback form and share with us. Suggestions are most welcome. We look forward to seeing you again at our next webinar, and see you soon. Thank you for taking time out to attend here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.